Welcome to Midnight Horrors. Dive into chilling tales and dark mysteries. Subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. Story 3: The Ghosts of Hollow Hill. In the late summer of 2002, my cousin Emily moved to a small town in Virginia, near a place known as Hollow Hill. The locals avoided the area, speaking in hushed tones about the strange occurrences and the eerie feeling that settled over the hill at night. Emily, curious and skeptical, decided to investigate the rumors for herself. Hollow Hill was only a short walk from Emily's new home, and on her first day off, she decided to take a hike up the hill. The day was bright and sunny, and the trail leading up to the top was well worn, as if many had walked it before her. However, the closer she got to the top, the more uneasy she felt. The trees grew thicker, blocking out the sun, and the air turned cold and still. At the top of the hill, Emily found a small clearing with an old, dilapidated house in the center. The house looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Its windows were shattered, and the wooden boards were rotting away. Emily approached cautiously, her curiosity piqued. As she stood at the front door, she felt a sudden rush of cold air, as if someone had walked right through her. Determined to explore, Emily pushed open the creaky door and stepped inside. The interior was dark and dusty, with broken furniture scattered across the floor. The atmosphere was heavy, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She snapped a few photos and started to leave when she heard a faint whisper, so quiet she thought she imagined it. But then it came again, louder this time, calling her name. Emily froze, her heart racing. The voice was coming from upstairs. Gathering her courage, she slowly ascended the staircase, each step creaking under her weight. At the top of the stairs, she found a small room with a single window, the light filtering through, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The room was empty, but the whispering continued, now all around her. Emily's fear turned to terror as the whispering grew louder, now clearly saying her name. The temperature in the room plummeted, and she could see her breath in the air. She backed away, ready to flee, when she saw a faint, glowing figure standing in the corner of the room. It was a woman, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, her face pale and eyes hollow. The ghostly figure raised a hand, pointing at Emily, before disappearing into the shadows. Emily didn't wait to see what would happen next. She bolted down the stairs and out of the house, not stopping until she was back in her own home, the door locked tight behind her. That night, she couldn't sleep. The ghostly figure haunted her dreams, and every time she closed her eyes, she heard the whisper, "Leave, leave Hollow Hill." Despite her fear, Emily couldn't resist the urge to return to the hill. The next day, she ventured back, this time with a friend for support. Together, they approached the house, but as they got closer, they noticed something strange. The house looked different. It was no longer dilapidated, but in pristine condition, as if it had been restored overnight. They hesitated, unsure of what they were seeing, but curiosity got the better of them. They stepped inside, and immediately the air grew cold. The same whispering started again, but this time it was different, angrier, more insistent. The temperature dropped even further, and they could see their breath in the air. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, and the room was plunged into darkness. The whispering grew louder, And then, out of the darkness, the ghostly figure appeared again, but this time it was not alone. More figures materialized, their hollow eyes fixed on Emily and her friend. The spirits began to close in on them, their whispers turning into a deafening roar. Emily and her friend managed to escape the house, but the experience left them shaken. They never returned to Hollow Hill, and Emily eventually moved away, unable to shake the feeling that something was watching her. To this day, the house remains a mystery, its true history unknown. But one thing is certain: Hollow Hill is a place best left undisturbed. Story 4. The Whispering Woods. In the spring of 2010, my friend James and I decided to go on a weekend hiking trip to a remote area of the Appalachian Mountains. We had heard about a trail that led through a place known as the Whispering Woods, a dense forest with a reputation for strange and unexplained phenomena. We thought it would be the perfect adventure. Little did we know we were about to experience something that would haunt us forever. The hike started out normal enough. The trail was well marked, and the weather was perfect for hiking. As we made our way deeper into the woods, the trees grew taller and closer together, blocking out most of the sunlight. The air was cool and still, and the only sounds were the crunch of leaves underfoot and the occasional bird call. But as we ventured further, an unsettling feeling began to creep in. The first sign that something was wrong came when we noticed the forest had gone completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. It was as if the woods were holding their breath, waiting for something. We tried to shake off the unease and continued on, but the silence was oppressive, and the trees seemed to loom over us, their branches twisting and turning like gnarled hands reaching out. We stopped for a break at a small clearing, trying to regain our composure. That's when we heard it, a soft, barely audible whisper. At first, we thought it was the wind, but the whispers grew louder, more distinct. It wasn't just one voice. It was many, overlapping and weaving together in a dissonant chorus. The whispers seemed to come from all around us, echoing through the trees. We stood frozen, listening to the eerie sounds, trying to make sense of what we were hearing. The words were unintelligible, but there was an urgency to them, a desperate warning that we couldn't quite understand. As the whispers grew louder, the atmosphere in the woods became heavy, almost suffocating. We decided to keep moving, hoping to find a way out of the Whispering Woods before nightfall. As we continued along the trail, the whispers followed us, growing louder and more insistent. It felt like the forest was alive, watching us, and the whispers were its way of communicating. The further we went, the more disoriented we became. The trail, which had been clear and easy to follow, now seemed to twist and turn in ways that didn't make sense. It was as if the forest was trying to trap us, leading us deeper into its heart. The whispers became unbearable, like a cacophony of voices all speaking at once, demanding to be heard. We started to panic, realizing that we were hopelessly lost. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor, and we knew that we needed to find our way out before darkness fell. Just as we were about to give up hope, we stumbled upon an old, weathered signpost. The words were barely legible, but we could make out one word: leave. The sign was covered in moss, as if it had been there for years, forgotten by time. The whispers were louder than ever now, almost deafening, and they seemed to be urging us to heed the sign's warning. We didn't need to be told twice. We turned and ran, not caring which direction we went. As long as it was away from the whispering woods, the forest seemed to come alive as we fled, the trees closing in around us, their branches scratching and clawing at our clothes. The whispers followed us, growing more frantic, as if they were trying to push us out of the woods. We finally burst out of the woods and into a clearing just as the last light of day faded. The whispers stopped abruptly, and the forest fell silent once more. We never looked back as we made our way to the nearest town, where we told our story to the locals. They listened in silence, nodding knowingly. The whispering woods, they said, had claimed many victims over the years. Those who didn't heed the warnings were never seen again. Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope these chilling stories kept you on the edge of your seat. If you enjoyed the content, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more terrifying tales. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue bringing you more spooky stories from the darkest places. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.